Today I'm going to show you my lead delay settings in the Fractal Audio FM9 Turbo. The FM9 Turbo by Fractal Audio is my newest purchase, and it's a kick-ass modeling unit which offers almost all of the features of the AxeFx III which I need. And if you know this unit, or if you don't know this unit, please check out my videos about that. But it's basically a floorboard version of the AxeFx. Comes with 9-foot switches and very flexible concept to set up these foot switches. And today I would like to show you which delay settings I like to use, because as you may know, I'm a very big fan of delays, especially when playing leads. But there are a couple of things you have to consider when playing leads concerning the delays, because for example, if you are playing fast and you have too much delays, then maybe your playing will interfere with the delayed signal. Otherwise, if you're playing slow notes, long sustaining notes, then you need maybe another kind of delay. So I open up the editor for you here, and currently I'm in my delay Patricia setting. So this is one delay setting which I use when I'm playing slower solos with sustaining notes. Of course, it works for fast lines too, but if the rhythm section is very busy, then maybe this would be too much. So let's take a look at the delay setting. As you can see here, I'm running the delay in parallel to my signal path. By the way, my signal chain here is starting here and then going to this lane. And here, these are the effects which I use in front of the amp. Currently they are all disengaged. An amp at the cab section. And the enhancer. The enhancer makes this stereo widener effect. If you choose the classic mode, set the width very high, then and pan it left and right, then you have this widener effect. If I turn it off, then the guitar is straight in the middle. Which is maybe a good decision for recording leads and also for playing live. But if you're playing at home for fun, then maybe the enhancer is really opens things up. And I'm using a reverb. And in parallel, I'm using the delay, which is the thing I would like to explain now. And first thing, if you use the effect in parallel, then you have to set the mix to 100%, so that only the delayed signal is going through this part. Otherwise, if you are routing the original signal, then it adds to the overall volume, and usually that is not the desired behavior. Can control the overall volume then here with the, for example, the output level in the following blocks. And of course, if you set it to 100%, then you have to reduce the level usually a little bit if you don't want to be the delay as loud as the original signal. For this setting, I'm using a dual delay. And dual delay is basically you have two separate delay controls, and it's another thing than a ping pong delay, which I will show you in a second. But the dual delay, you have basically two delays in this block. And what people like to do usually is run it in stereo, so that maybe one delayed signal is going only to the left side and the other one is going to the right side. So here we have the left side and here we have the right side in this section here. As you can see, I was setting fixed values, time values to the time. And of course you could have chosen here a tempo, which you have to tap in then, but I want this to have always the same time, because I found out with the slower solos, usually you don't play that rhythmically to like maybe on fast solos, and then the delay is working if it has a longer time, but also this fixed time is working in most applications I use it. So I kept these settings. And what is very important here is, as you can hear, there's a little bit of this galloping effect. It's not just going one right, one left, one right, one left, like with a ping pong delay. And the galloping is coming from the feedback. So what I do here, as you can see, is the feedback left to right. I'm sending the delayed signal from the left side, which should be usually panned to the left side only here. As you can see, it's panned 100% to the left side, but I'm sending 25% to the right side. And that means this delayed signal here is delayed by this time again. That makes the galloping effect. But you have to choose these values carefully, so that it will work together. Otherwise, it will be, well, you will have another rhythmical effect, which is not working in random settings. So I figured out these ones seem to fit together. And also I'm sending the right delay, 31% of the right delay to the left channel. So that you have this galloping, as I call it, on both sides. I set it to 0 here. Let's say this. Then you have only this this delayed signal on the left side and only this on the right side. Set this to 0, then usually I wonder if nothing will happen. Yeah. So if you set this to 0, it's usually this is the amount of feedback. So the number of times which the delayed signal will be repeated. If you raise this, it will continue a little bit longer. So this is my delay setting for the kind of ballady type stuff. And of course you have some other parameters here which you could use, but usually I don't use them. You could use the ducker. That is basically you have set the threshold to a certain value where the delay should start to work, and that is if usually it's used like if people don't want the delay to be heard when they are playing and only in the breaks in between the notes. But I don't use it because my my goal is always with the delay to create some background noise, because I found out that that helps to your solo line to stick out of a mix without getting too annoying. And what I use heavily is the EQ. I tend to cut the highs and also the lows because well, the highs is that what interferes with your solo playing, and if you want to raise the delay a little bit more, like I do, to create the background noise, if you cut the highs very drastically, like here, then you don't hear the attack repeated, and that means it doesn't interfere with your playing, because you hear only the attack of the notes when you're hitting the notes. For example, if I raise it here, well, this be a little bit distracting from the notes you're playing, especially loud volumes who hear this. And also I cut the lows because usually the lows are very power consuming. And if you have the lows repeated and you are playing, then what is happening usually, you get some clipping in the lows very easily. So yeah, at least the sub-bass frequencies I cut here. So that is my first delay setting. And I have some other scenes, for example here, where I'm using the ping pong delay. And that is a delay which I use for faster solos. With fast stuff, it's usually the case that I'm using a tap tempo. But what is also working for me is some value around maybe 400 milliseconds. And so if you don't want to use the tap tempo or don't have a tap tempo foot switch or something, I recommend to start around these settings. The ping pong delay is not a dual delay, but it's a stereo delay. And what is happening here is it's just switching from left to right with each repeat. And yeah, you have of course the master time, the feedback, the master feedback here, and also I run it in parallel. Here I didn't set the high cut, but I reduced the overall level a little bit. It was working. What you can do is you can also use a modulation delay, which especially with analog delays does a similar thing, like cutting the highs and lows, and also it's modulating the delayed signal a little bit. Then you get like a chorus effect. Here you can also try to do this with the modulation, but honestly I'm not the biggest fan of that. So yeah, here usually my settings are around the 20%, so it's maybe delayed, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, but not more than that, more often than that. And here it's minus 12 dB, but usually if you if you don't use it in parallel, I tend to run it somewhere around maybe 25% compared to the volume of the original signal. And that seemed to work for me. So here I'm using the ping pong delay, and you don't get this galloping effect. It's just switching from left to right, which is nice when you're playing in stereo. If you would use a mono delay, it would also work, especially for live situations. I would use it maybe in mono, but here at home it's nice. Of course, you can reduce the spread here, so then you have it basically like a mono delay straight in the middle. And what else? The third delay which I use is where do we have it? It's my in-bass setting. It's also the dual delay. It's a little bit longer than the Petrucci delay and also a little bit stronger here. As you can see, these values here are higher. It doesn't have the galloping effect, so here these things are at 0. And yeah, it's also panned to left and right, as you can see. And it's basically maybe for the English stuff where he wants to have his playing repeated, or like that. If he's playing some of his triplets, then it's basically gone. So nothing here. So these are my 3 settings, and I hope this helps you to get the best out of your lead playing. And yeah, if you got any questions, please post them in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.